let's talk a little bit about taxation. Is taxation, are these index funds taxed differently from plain vanilla mutual funds? And how, how do you go about that?
Okay, so just two more points to add on the last point, Sonia, before we move on to taxation. While selecting an index fund, because we were giving out names, just take care of two parts. One is keep the expense ratio the lowest, and just check the tracking error. Tracking error can be a difficult number to figure out, but if you check the beta of the funds, which is readily available across all websites, the closer the beta is to 1, that means lower is the tracking error. It's just another name for tracking error, basically. So see for the lowest expense ratios, least amount of tracking error or the beta closest to 1, and AUM of a decent size, and there you get a good combination to select an index fund, and that's what we have given in terms of our recommendations. Now hopping on to taxation. Taxation is
Okay,
exactly similar
Mohit,
to.
just one more follow up there. You were talking about, we'll come to taxation in a bit, but these are two important things that you spoke about: the tracking error and the expense ratio. Just for the benefit of our viewers, what's the definition of both of these? And I mean, for people, it's hard enough to find the mutual fund data and the stocks that they have in their portfolio. How do you, I mean, if you can just drill it down, where exactly can you find the tracking error and the expense ratio of an index fund?
Okay. So TER, or the total expense ratio, is what the scheme requires or kind of deducts the money from the NAV of the fund to for its operating expenses. And these operating expenses could be fund manager's salary, or the fund house expenses, or the distributor commission, and so on and so forth, right? So that is absolutely available on any website of mutual fund research will give you the number of expense ratio. It can be for direct plans in index funds, it will be 0.2 to 0.3 odd percent. For active funds, it will be between 1 to 1.5 odd percent. And you can easily figure out that number. It is available on fund fact sheets also and fund house websites also. Tracking error is a difficult number if you start looking by the word tracking error. So search by the word beta. Look out for beta of the funds. Beta is the sensitivity of the fund to the benchmark, which means if a benchmark is moving by 100, how much is the fund moving? So you will find beta of index funds typically 0.99 to 1 to 1.01. That's the range. That's a good beta to have. If any of the schemes is having beta lesser than 0.95, that's a matter of concern, which means the tracking error is higher and that fund could be avoided. So look at beta, which is closest to 1, and that's a good fund. Along with that, combine it with expense ratio, low expense ratio, high beta, as in beta closer to 1, and that's a good combination to go for.